I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're recording. Yep. Okay. All right. Welcome everyone. We call this meeting this evening to order, and we will begin. We've had our Pledge of Allegiance. We'll begin with roll call.
Commissioner Bowser. Here. Commissioner Bueller. Here. Commissioner Day.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Commissioner Robertson.
Here.
Commissioner Shaver.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Approval of minutes. Any questions or comments? Corrections?
I have submitted edits.
Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll approve the minutes for April 6th, 2026. No courtesies this evening, no proclamations, so we'll move on to the board and commission reports. Is everyone here okay? So, yeah. Louder? Okay, we're going to ask the commissioners tonight to speak really loud and clear so that the public can hear all that we have to say. So we'll begin with the board reports, and we'll begin with Commissioner Bowser.
We had an ordinance committee meeting on the 15th of April, and it was brought to our attention that the trash cans are becoming a problem. People will take them out and then leave them out. So we need to maybe do something about that. We talked about the recap of the snow committee meeting, and we went over the planning committee, the progress that we're on the committee. And I believe the city people are Jennifer Thompson, Brian Dick, Mary Messina, and Carol Woolsey, who's been appointed by the city. And then we also visited about the zoning process.
Thank you very much. And nothing on library until next month?
No, library was right after that. The current staff is doing the director's job until a director is hired. They're doing a great job. And they need to replace a water fountain and new locks in the doors that have not been taken care of for quite a while. And they visited with someone about doing snow removal and mowing the lawn and stuff like that. And they're looking at hiring someone to do the cleaning also. That's it for library.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Shaver?
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Robertson?
I have a few for you. The snow committee, snow removal committee met on the 13th. It was a large group. I would say I wrote down that the consensus was that it's far more positive than negative, and that things went better this year than last, although there are some things we could do better. Takeaways from the meeting, need more people qualified and ready to plow. We need 2 pieces of equipment. I believe both are scheduled in as standard add-ins to the budget right now. One's a work truck that would be used year-round. The other one is an end dump trunk. Again, it would be used year-round, but it could have a plow on it. We need a few CDL drivers if we can get them or create them. And we are going to work real hard on 2 things: a clear work priority plan. In other words, a map of the city that's electronic and potentially even public. Well, eventually, I wouldn't hold your breath. We have to get that in place first, but show what's being done when or as it's being done, and then a communication plan and action, and the action related to the communication plan on what's occurring as it's occurring, best that we can. So that was the majority of that. Let's see, ordinance was already covered, and I was also there for SMDC at Snowy Mountain Development Corporation Board. Had a guest speaker, Dave Glazer from Stitch Bank. They're going to be providing some access to funding, basically. So Snowy Mountain can refer people through an organization to get better access to funding. What was the Bonton building was donated to Snowmont Development, as many of you may have read in the newspaper some time ago. That building was closed and is back on the tax rolls for new business that I think many of you have seen and heard about, which is a great thing. And let's see. I think the last piece was, we talked a little bit about the landfill project that the county's working on, how Snowmont Development can support that. Those are the highlights that I have for you.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Bueller?
The Central Montana Foundation meets next Tuesday, April 28th. That's what I have to report.
Thank you. Commissioner Ward?
I was not able to make the public works meeting, so I've got nothing to report.
Okay, no problem. Commissioner Hewitt?
Well, I hate to say this, but my computer and my telephone were not happy with me evidently. I could not get through on the line to attend the meeting. And Tim may have some knowledge of what went on as I do not.
Which one, the airport board?
Yeah.
Airport board meeting? Sorry, thinking here. I missed that board meeting. I was out of
Oh,
country.
you missed it too? Okay. Well, actually, the airport is fine. I did talk to Brian and the manager, and everything is going on fine there.
Thank you. Okay, our, the Park and Rec, board will meet the first Wednesday of May. Nothing to report from the Park and Rec board for this time. Okay, we'll move on to the city manager report with city manager Howard Duff.
Yes, so I don't know if you guys saw the newspaper article regarding Justice Court and City Court. This is not something new to either the city or the county. And so I do have an AG opinion regarding, how the courts were consolidated, and a copy of the agreement if anybody wants it, but you do have those in your email for your reference. Again, both the city and the county passed resolutions or ordinances back in 1993 to consolidate that. Since that time, the courts have served as a consolidated or joint justice/city court, and the judge is authorized to act as a city judge. And then we do have an agreement in place. The most current agreement was finalized in 2020, and the city has incrementally increased the amount that we pay Fergus County to the $60,000 that we currently pay. And so in 2019, not fast forwarding, Judge Mantid asked for those opinions, and so you have those for your information. Community events, the Historic Preservation Awards will be April 22nd. Those will be held at the library. We are recognizing 3 people or groups of people for their recent projects. It's a great opportunity to celebrate preservation and history in our community. And we have a wonderful speaker this year, Melody Dobson, who will be talking about the upcoming celebrations for the national anniversary.
What time is that, Molly?
That's not the same night as our Board of Adjustment.
She has a typo, it's
Okay.
April 23rd.
Thursday evening.
What time is that?
It is at 6 o'clock at the library.
Thank you.
And then, as a reminder, May 2nd is the recycling event held at the Trade Center. There's a flyer that I attached. They have lots of things that you can recycle, both electronics and paper. It's a great opportunity to keep that stuff out of our landfills. On April 22nd is also Earth Day. And so the Civic Center and Park and Recreation Department will be doing a cleanup of the trails and parks. For more information, you can call the Civic Center regarding that. They have a great flyer on Facebook as well. We are also working on the pool season and kicking off the season. We have hired much of the staff already. We are still looking for a few more lifeguards, so if you know anyone interested in becoming a lifeguard, have them stop by. Tim did a great job wrapping up the snow committee. I will say a few key takeaways that I had that maybe weren't mentioned was increased and consistent plowing, as well as consistent enforcement. And then we touched on a few pieces of equipment and making sure that we have those kind of second tier B drivers in larger numbers, because those are on on-call position, and it never fails. You call 10 of them and 2 of them are available. Just recognizing that. Wastewater permit, biosolids, the design is being finalized. Once that's done, DEQ approves it, and then we go out to bid on that. And then the construction project has wrapped up. They're doing the final walkthrough this week. Library director, that position will be posted very quickly. And the library board and the city have worked on lots of different things. They are working on getting a building committee together as well, which will help with that master plan, the grant that the library has. The planning commission and zoning code updates. We are meeting on the land use plan. Also, as I alluded to, the planning commission, the conservation district has appointed their member, and so I did receive confirmation on that, and we'll be getting them together in the next week or two to have their first kickoff meeting. Just to bring attention to the monthly committee meetings, and this one kind of sneaks up on me. The Public Works Committee meeting is the first Friday of the month, and that is May 1st, so that's before our next meeting even. So just to bring your attention there. And then employment opportunities, we still have lots of opportunities. We are working on doing some different promotions of these positions. The police department is conducting another round of officer interviews, and other than that, we'll go from there.
Has there been a Board of Adjustment meeting date set?
Yes.
What
That
date
is the 22nd
Okay.
at 5:30 in this space. And in your packet is the appeals that the attorney has determined have merit.
Thank you.
Right in here. Any questions for the city manager regarding her report? All right, we'll move on to public comment. So this is public comment on non-agenda items. So if you have a public comment, please stand, state your name and address for the record.
I'm Ed Butcher, and I'm one of the major property owners here in Lewistown. I actually don't live in the town, but I own a lot of property here. And I wanted to discuss this whole situation with this high-rise apartment. Everybody's trying to shove in, your city manager, your planner are trying to shove that into that postage stamp land over there. And they're getting these variances, which obviously are out of character. And I noticed, I got a kick out of it here, the zoning, the 12 points on the zoning. Point 6 prevents overcrowding of land. You're putting 40 apartments in a postage stamp. Avoid undue concentration of population. Same thing. Consider the character of the district. You're going into a residential, basically single family area. And there's tremendous opposition to this. I mean, when at that meeting, when the board met, there was 50, 60 people from that area, property owners, that were in there. So there's a lot of opposition here, and your city manager's telling you that that decision by the board is final. No, it's not final. I'm sorry. You are the elected body. You are the one who have the voters that send in here to make decisions. That board was appointed by you. They work under you, just like the city manager works for you. You don't work for her. So I think it's important that you guys, as elected members of this body, take control of this. And when you have a proposal such as that that's going in there, you have the authority to override it. I'm sorry, but that's basic political science 101. If anybody needs to look at it, you need to figure out how government operates. And obviously, there's a lot of confusion in the city. And you guys need to take control of this thing and address the issue. Because it's that situation is, you know, you can have 60 to 80 cars parking on the street. I mean, that alone is enough in a small, narrow streets like that. You have a big enough problem, get snow removal during the winter. Can you imagine if you had the streets lined with parked cars? Now, I don't think the people in the area, from what I understand from, they would not object to a fourplex, or a couple of fourplexes, or a couple duplexes, or whatever. But when your city manager and a big city planner shoved this thing through with these developers that come from out of town to put a 40 apartment unit in there, for one thing, 1,200 square foot apartments, you're going to have Section 8 housing, is what it boils down to, in a nice residential area. And it's really up to you guys to take control of this thing and get public hearings or whatever you want, but your decision is the final decision. The elected bodies are, I wrote the charter for Fergus County. I was the chairman of the commission back in the 90s when we wrote gave self-governing power to the county. They had self-governing power, however, they're not the ultimate authority. The legislature can still override anything the county puts in. The county can only put in rules that aren't forbidden by state law, but their rules can be totally overridden. And this is something, for some reason, people don't understand, that it goes back to the people elected by the voters to make the decision. It's not the city manager makes decision. It's not an appointed board that you guys put in there. So I would really urge you to take this thing up and listen to the people. When you have that many people in opposition and they put in variances, there's a problem here, folks. There's a problem here. And I think that it's really important for the people in here to have to see that their elected representatives are going to take control of this thing and make the final decision. So it's up to you to vote, you guys to vote on it, yay or nay on this whole development that's in there. It's not left up to an appointed board, it's not left up to the city manager and the city planner to decide what's going to go into those areas. And the thing that is you've got all kinds of property west of town that you put development. I'm not opposed to development, but you don't put a 4-story building or even a 3-story, 40 apartments into the middle of a single house residential area. And the people up there, it's going to drop the property values tremendously in that area to have that apartment complex in there. And I'm actually in the process of looking at purchasing a property in that area. And that's why I'm concerned, because I'm sitting back and looking at, do I really want to invest in a property that's going to have that kind of congestion, that kind of problems in that whole area? So I think it's important for you guys to take control of this as elected representatives of the people and make these decisions. So I would thank you on that, and I think you need to look at this zoning, these 4 points on the zoning. Prevent overcrowding land, avoid undue concentration of population, consider the character of the district, consider the particular suitability of the property for particular uses. I mean, it violates what you guys have her saying here for the planning commission. For the zoning commission. So with that, I would hope that you guys will take control of it as elected officials and really fulfill your duty and obligation to the people that elected you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public comment?
Robert Roots, 220 West Montana Street, Lewistown, Montana. I am a member of the City Ordinance Committee, and we did meet last Wednesday. Talk about all kinds of ordinances and how to enforce them in an equitable and charitable way. Sometimes that's hard. But one of the things that really has been on, when I was a commissioner there for a few years, was the Berg lumber property, to get that utilized in such a manner that it is off the city's ownership and onto the tax rolls. And so we have a lot of steam, shall we say, over this proposed 4-story building. We talked on this, some of the commissioners are on that commission also, on that committee, about let's try and get something working where we can get that out on that Berg property that the city owns, get it out there. Now to do that, it was pointed out that perhaps we would have to allow or put in some kind of sewer and water mains to entice people to build out there. Now, I remember when that, it was first done out there with the Berg lumber property, and a guy came in and offered a couple $100,000 for it, and then we never heard from him again. But there's a guy sitting right here that said, why don't we let the local contractors build out there? Well, at that time, I wasn't sharp enough to think that might be a possibility. I thought we got to do it all at one time. I mean, it's 18 acres, I think, 19, something like that. But if a guy could turn that into 15 1-acre lots and let people, you know, like Dan Peters Construction, Landmark, Clearwater Builders, let somebody that buy 1 or 2 of them lots, build on it, and it's gonna, as we see all around us, one house comes up. It might take 2 years, and then all of a sudden there's a second and a third house, and finally it's full. I believe that would happen out there, but we're gonna have to sweeten that thing up a little bit. You got a couple guys that got a day, and you got a front end loader and truck, clean up some of that stuff out there, instead of relying on somebody that, whoever buys it to do that, things like that. So, you know, I wanted to add, I'm not an advocate of city ownership of real estate, but I do believe that an investment of water and sewer mains involving local contractors that live here and pay taxes here and their kids go to school here, that is a win-win situation. So if there's anything we can do, and we talked about some things that I'm not gonna mention here, I'll let them do that if they wish, that could possibly get that 4-story thing out there, so. Let's work on it.
Thank you so much. There we go.
Hello, Mike Byrne, live in Escanaba, Suite 212, and I ditto what Ron just shared. I think that's definitely worth looking into and seeing what happened. I've got a letter I'm going to read to you. This is from an attorney who does nothing but variances. That's what he does. I would consider him an expert in the field of how they're applied. His name is Dorian Reiser, and he said, I've received calls from homeowners seeking my assistance in obtaining variances to allow for the construction of a proposed addition to their home, garage, installation of a pool, fence shed, or other structure. Sometimes the requests involve the ability to use a property in a manner that's not specifically authorized by the town's zoning regulations. In many of these cases, when the homeowner is advised by the contractor engineer that the town building and zoning department that proposed structure, improvement, or use violates in some manner the town's zoning regulations. An example, a proposed garage encroaches into a required side or rear yard setback, or a homeowner wants to keep horses on his property, the regulation doesn't permit this in the zoning law. And the common thought by the homeowner is, I'll just go get a variance. However, in most cases, it's easier said than done. A variance permits an owner to develop or use his property in a manner prohibited by the zoning regulations. For that reason, the power of the town through the zoning board of appeals is to grant the variance is to be exercised sparingly and only under exceptional circumstances. Technically, a variance is only to be granted if the owner demonstrates a hardship that warrants the granting of relief from the strict or literal application of the regulations. The hardship must constitute something unique or peculiar about the property that prevents the property from complying with the regulations. This unique characteristic must then be coupled with the showing that the property cannot be reasonably used or developed for another permitted use under the zoning regulations, or that the property has little or no economic value if the variance is denied. The law does not authorize the granting of variances just because the owner has a personal desire to expand their dwelling or perhaps create a more comfortable modernized space or for convenience, or even because it would improve the appearance of the building. The law explicitly provides that the variances are not to be granted when the reasonable use of the property is already present. It is possibly under the regulations, but the owner prefers otherwise. Furthermore, there is no de minimis exception to the hardship requirement. For example, a zoning board authority cannot grant the variance simply because it's a minor deviation from the regulations, such as a minimal encroachment into a required setback. Your variances are not tools of convenience. There is a very high threshold to pass in order to be entitled to a variance. In addition, a variance requires a public hearing to be held by the zoning board of appeals. This can be a complicated process to navigate on one's own. In most cases, it's advisable to consult an attorney and to assist in specific procedural and legal aspects of applying for a variance. Essentially, this is saying this is not done for the convenience of the developer. It has to fit the community, and it has to work with fitting into the community. And so that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Would you like a copy of that letter that was read?
Yes, please.
Could you turn that into our clerk as a copy of the letter you read?
Sure.
Thank you. If you have an extra copy, that would be appreciated. Okay, continuing with public comment.
Yeah, Michelle Rainey, 168 Castle Ridge Drive. I own a property on Spring Street. I do ditto what's been said. The first thing I do want to bring up, though, is I stopped at a public restroom by the brewery, and there was no toilet paper in there. So I don't know who's taking care of all that, but it was on a Sunday. So that probably needs to be addressed and looked at. Yeah, I'm gonna grab a paper. It was brought up that a lot of people aren't showing up here, and maybe that means that they're for the apartments. Well, that's not true. One thing is that when you only go 300 feet out for an area where people further out are going to be affected by this, they should have been notified as well, and that didn't happen. Anyway, we have plenty of signatures to show a lot of people against this, and we haven't even begun. That was just a little bit from each of some of us here represented, not even really trying. If we want to try to get signatures, we can get them that are going to be against this. I don't know if you've seen a picture of this. This is the apartment. I got it from the city. It's the actual apartment. I'll give you each a paper of this, with a conservative amount of parking of 66 cars. I did a little bit of research. When a small amount of people decide that we're going to be part of a Montana growth plan, you need to consider where that growth plan is. A lot of those are done in big cities that already have public transportation, so that's where the lawyer was speaking about possibly a half a car that we're going to go into in October. Well, right now the laws are at least one car per bedroom. With 40 units, there's 16 of them have 2 bedrooms. So you're looking at 66 cars, and then they're supposed to have guest parking, and you need to also have some disability parking. And then you need to consider the neighborhood. There's already families there that are parking. There's trash cans in the streets. There's recreational vehicles. there's already a lot of crowded, I didn't get a picture, I might bring it tomorrow, but we had a snow right before one of our meetings here, and I drove down the street, and, it's a mess. So, when we adopt a city growth plan, we need to consider what city we live in. And those plans need to be directed towards what we have here. People are proud of Lewistown. We love the historic value here. So that's a big reason that modern monstrosity does not fit in that neighborhood. And it was said that at one time it was going to be duplexes, and I think people would accept that. When you say people that have letters with merit, are they the only ones that are going to be able to speak that night?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So, any any citizens that come here that want to speak on the variances are going to be able to speak? Okay. Anyway, I think I've hit a lot of things that needs to be struck till Wednesday. But, highly really consider that whole parking thing. In Montana, we love our cars, and we do not have public transportation in place. And like Marie said last time, she's not hiking up the hill with her groceries. And people are in more cars. And I can pass these out if you want to see what it looks like, because it shows you the size of houses in that area. Thank you.
Any other public comment on non-agenda items?
Oh, guys, hard-working city council folks. I'm Kirk Eastman, and I am a property owner in Esplanade, and a lot of other property around Lewistown. I've been in business here was in business for close to 50 years. Michelle had a good point about the number of cars that are gonna be there. I know high school kids, particularly boys, that have at least 2 cars themselves. They have a pickup and a car, and most young couples have 2 cars too. So 60 cars probably isn't an unreasonable guess on that place. So I have to watch the cars. It will be a problem. Mr. Rubes had a good suggestion of Burke property, and I know that probably isn't ready yet. But there might be other places around town, the city owns some of those, that could be turned into private property and get them on the property rolls and be used for a project like this. One I've noticed is down where 2nd Avenue runs into the truck bypass. It's where the Fairgrounds Road comes in and tees with the with the truck bypass. And straight across from it, there's a big piece of property there that's empty that the city owns, bigger than this one that you're looking at. And if you were to build this apartment complex there, you have good thoroughfares. You don't have a lot of houses close by. You have a park across the street, and the traffic and the parking would not be as big a problem as it is this year. I don't think we're against trying to build things. It's just trying to make sure that they fit the neighborhood and we're building what's good for Lewistown. And I don't think, I think a lot of people don't think that this thing is going to fit well where it's trying to be proposed. I know you folks, I think maybe we have to think outside of the box and see if there are other ways to try to solve these problems, see if there's other ways to do it. I know you folks don't want a lot of hostility, and there is a lot of hostility on this thing. If it goes through, you're gonna have people mad at you for decades, no doubt about it. And it's not good for the city, it's not good for you guys. So we would hope that we could get something that would work out, be good for Lewistown. We all love Lewistown. I don't doubt that you guys love Lewistown. I don't doubt that any of these people love Lewistown. And we want to keep Lewistown as nice as we can, have it work as good as we can, and try to make everybody happy and everything work out. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you.
My name is John Carlson. I live on the corner of 4th and Boulevard. one of the busiest corners in the whole town. You wanna see action, you can see it in the rainstorms, where the manhole covers are going down the street, 2 AM in the morning, wreckers pulling the vehicle out of the manhole. It's a good corner for the snowplows to hit the curbs, because our lot sticks approximately 2 feet further out into the street than the rest of Fourth and by Norwest Bank. Well, Wells Fargo, you can tell I'm ancient. But what I'm here for is, I have to agree with Ed's comment. I've been here roughly 40 some odd years. And I have to admit, I'm a little confused. Does the city have a organized organization chart of the power structure? Do you have one?
I believe so, we do, yeah. Yes.
Where is it public?
It's
So
city
people can
office,
see
they
it.
can receive one, right?
Our charter is also online.
It's online.
Online.
The charter is online,
It is online?
yes.
Okay, because I have to admit that I have felt confused on what the structure of the city is. I have to agree with Ed that the buck basically stops with we the people that are in control supposedly, which in my estimation is the council. I know Holly, known her for many years. I have no idea how she does the job, that's not my business. But it's we, the people, that are supposedly in control. We elect representatives to represent what we want done or what will get done. And if the debate is going of whether Holly is the top dog, that's been confusing to me. I'm no intellect. I pull my pants on one leg at a time. But common sense, if you take a look from the Constitution, way back when, the state constitution, I have to admit, I have not read the city bylaws. I've looked at some things, but I think it's a problem that needs to be sorted out. Who runs this place? In my humble estimation, it's the city elected officials, which means you, the commissioners. Thank you.
I just want to say, I'm hoping that you guys are gonna come on Wednesday. It was not recorded last time, and I don't even know, I guess, are the minutes available finally? I mean, they were not available back,
They're in a draft form right now, but have not been approved.
well,
So minutes will be presented at the next meeting, the next Board of Adjustment meeting. Am I correct on that?
Yep, and they can pick up a draft copy.
Draft
And-
copy can be picked up at the city.
And as for being an elected board, we actually can't all meet in the same space, or it's a public meeting. So we'll need to hopefully have some representatives from the commission, but the whole commission cannot meet at the Board of Adjustments meeting.
yeah, I mean, if
That
some
is
of
a
you can
public
come,
meeting.
because I feel like,
It's advertised as a public meeting.
But none of the decisions
Yes, you
we
could think.
correct would be.
you could all come to the meeting, but you cannot sit together, nor can you talk.
We would love that because we've depended on you to listen to what we're saying, what happened at the last meeting. We were not represented whatsoever. And that's not what the Board of Adjustment is in place for. So I would like some of you to be there if this is not going to be recorded, because it wasn't recorded before, so that you can rely on what you hear with your own ears. Thank you.
And basically at that meeting, Holly was directing, she was telling what to go and where to go. So she was running that board. So I think there needs to be, the commission needs to get control of this whole structure, this city government.
And that meeting was recorded. It's not recorded for the public record, but it's recorded for minutes purposes. So there is a recording of that entire meeting.
Thank you. Okay, we'll be moving on to our consent agenda for this evening. Acknowledgement of claims that have been paid from April 1st to April 16th. Any questions from the commissioners?
I have one question on the Cushing Terrell, $3,435. Is that a one-time thing, or we're gonna keep, it's for that's our consultants doing the, helping with the zoning, right?
Yep, and the contract is for up to 50,000.
So we're gonna see that quite a bit
It's a monthly.
monthly.
Motion? Thank you.
I move we approve the claims that have been paid from April 1st through April 16th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bueller and a second from Commissioner Hewitt. Any other questions from the commission? Okay, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, please raise your right hand. Okay, all right, moving on to our regular agenda for the evening. We'll begin with item number 1, discussion and action on accepting the Montana Main Street Local Capacity Grant and authorizing the city manager to sign the grant agreement. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so included in the packet is the award letter. The Montana Main Street program put out a small grant to help local communities build capacity. And the Lewistown Downtown Association applied for that grant. Their amount is $1,500 to support upgrades to their website. And that was awarded. So the city will just serve as a pass-through. That grant will be done by them and paid by them.
Who's the current chair of the Downtown Association?
The current chair is
Adam Fritz.
Yes.
And is it Westman will be doing those websites?
Correct. And their website is Enjoy Lewistown. They manage and run Enjoy Lewistown.
Any questions or a motion?
I move to accept the Montana Main Street Local Capacity Grant and authorize the city manager to sign the grant agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Robertson and a second from Commissioner Warren. Any other questions regarding the motion from the commission or the public? Okay, let's do a roll call vote.
Okay, we are approving the Montana Main Street Local Capacity Grant and authorizing the city manager to sign the grant. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 2 is discussion and action on approving the purchase of 2 diving boards for the Lewistown swimming pool. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so included in your packet is a quote for the replacement of both diving boards at the pool. last season, one of those had, some wear and was out of service. So the Friends of the Pool has decided that, that is a project that they would like to fund. And so, they will actually be reimbursing us for the entire amount. But we are the ones purchasing it, so we must comply with our purchasing policy.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of the diving boards.
Second.
$15,707.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bowser and a second.
A second.
From Commissioner Bueller.
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead, I'll ask my next meeting.
I mean, I trust the Friends of the Pool. Is there any commitment when they just told us they'd pay us back?
Their board member, and we have an email, this is just one of the projects that we're funding this year.
Cool.
And we discussed in our park and rec meeting, like, options of sanding or repairing or what have you, and just with safety and new everything, it was just better to just start off.
There's a warranty, there's a guarantee with a new product. So we actually approached them because they asked kind of the park and recs, the pool desires, you know, what projects are your priorities, and then they tell us what and how much they're willing to fund. And so we actually just recommended replacing one. It was their desire to go with both. Another great partnership we have.
If we need to advertise, maybe we'll know.
Yeah, new diving boards at the pool. Okay, any other questions regarding the motion? We've got a motion on the table to approve this. Any from the public? Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Okay, we are going to approve the purchase of 2 diving boards. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 3 is discussion and action on approving the purchase of 5 sets of structure turnout pants and coats for the Lewistown Fire Department. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so this is the fireproof outerwear that the fire department has. It does have a certain life. And so, the fire chief has budgeted for 5 sets. Again, they typically do 5 sets for the Lewistown fire, and then the rural district will do another 5 sets. And then our old sets are passed down to our park aides. And so, this was budgeted for. Again, we typically hold off these large purchases till closer to the end of the budget year, to make sure that there's no other emergencies or things like that that come up. And so, this was budgeted for and planned for.
Do you need a motion to include which one they will need to purchase, or do they know which one they want?
It was great to have that.
Okay. Did the fire chief offer any insight? I have obvious preference.
He wrote in who he would prefer. The local vendor, was actually the cheapest, and the third vendor, he could not get, like bid from another vendor. They sold different products that weren't at the same standard.
One comment that he did say to me when he turned this in, if you notice under Big Sky Fire and Equipment, they do custom fit to size.
Yep.
They come in and do all the measurements, so that was another benefit to going with that.
So, lower quote, custom fit, higher quote.
Support local.
And local.
Not custom fit, and local.
And Holly, you said this was already in the budget? But we.
Anything above 15,000 comes back to you guys.
Do we have a motion?
Does the chief usually come to these when he asks for $25,000 or $25,000?
Sometimes.
He had a prior commitment tonight, so he was unable to attend, so he did apologize.
Okay, this says, well, the motion says 5, but It says 7 on the purchase agreement. Is that?
Five cents.
In the 5
It says-
sets. Oh. Looking on another page.
Yeah,
Yeah, we wanna just look at the front page, cause those are his quotes that he got from other places.
okay.
So he was able to provide the proper documentation.
Is it because it says flex 7, is that
Uh-huh.
the model number, but it's,
Yeah.
at the bottom, it does say quantity of 5.
Yeah.
I move we approve, where are we at? The purchase of 5 sets of structure turnout pants and coats for the Lewistown Fire Department, and I would recommend utilizing Big Sky Fire for that purchase.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bueller and a second from Commissioner Hewitt to go with the quote of the Big Sky Fire. Any other questions from the commission? Or the public? Okay, let's do a roll call.
Okay, we are authorizing the purchase of 5 sets of structured turnout pants and coats to be purchased from Big Sky Fire and Equipment. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the last item on our agenda is discussion and action on approving a business license for Wilson's Quality Comfort LLC, HVAC HVAC. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so this is a mechanical contractor, and as required in city code, when we do business licenses for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, not only do they have to provide a surety bond, but they have to get approval from the city commission. And all the documentation has been provided.
It's like you need a question.
There's a notation on here that says license for spring water apartment project. Is that they're doing this?
I would guess that they are one of the contractors that, if selected, they would be working on the project, yep.
Do they meet all requirements?
This contractor does, yes.
I move to approve the business license for Wilson's Quality Comfort LLC HVAC.
Second.
I got one down here.
We have a motion from Commissioner Robertson and a second from Commissioner Hewitt. Is that correct?
That's what I heard, yes.
So I guess mine's just more of a comment of having a project this large being brought in out of our community rather than having someone local, but that's not our, I'm just making a comment. Not our ability to choose or what have you.
Well, and that project does not have a building permit either, so it's all on speculation.
Okay, any other questions from commission regarding the motion? Or the public? Okay.
Is this the first such license we did up there for this
No, there's,
project?
and again, I don't know their contractors, but we've seen a lot of contractors, coming in and getting permits or business licenses. But this is a busy time of year too, so that's not unusual.
This one says for license for the spring water apartment.
Mhm.
Is this the first one for there?
No, not that
I think
I'm
there's
aware
a
of.
couple. But it, you know, there's several things we don't wanna read into. They could be some places, as does the city of Lewistown,
we can put out for a bid and ask everybody to submit their proposals, and if they don't have a business license, then they are automatically, disqualified. We're not gonna hire that. So maybe that's what they're doing. We don't know. We are just following the city code. And the city code says any of these have to come to the commission.
And they are bonded and insured by the state.
Yes.
So what is it that you're doing with the?
So just approving a business license, it's an application for a business license to do business in the city of Lewistown.
Oh,
Okay, everything HVAC, plumbing, and electrical comes before the commission for approval.
I would just comment, I'm not a fan of this apartment complex, but I think when we step into the world of picking and choosing which contractors can and cannot work in our community based on they might come and work on a project, it's really a slippery slope, inappropriate as hell for us to be doing that. Just
It
my
opens
personal
us
opinion.
to liability issues.
Not just that, it's just, there are hundreds of millions of dollars of projects that happen in Fergus County and Lewistown, Montana. And for us to step into the private sector to say, we don't want this project, therefore we're not gonna give you a license, is entirely inappropriate for us to dictate in the private sector that. As I said, I'm not in favor of this project going forward where it is. I've made that public from day one. But this is a whole different issue. We give out licenses if people meet the criteria. They did that. I made the motion.
Okay, I would just like to add that I'd like to do due diligence because I've never seen handwritten comments on a business application before like this. So that was why I was pointing it out and wanting to know why there's a specification on this bill. Right, we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any other comments from the commission or the public? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
So we are approving a business license for Wilson's Quality Comfort LLC. It's an HVAC business license. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Okay, all right, moving on to citizens' requests. Do we have any citizen requests? All right, commissioners' minutes. We'll start on this end with Commissioner Bowser.
The other day, my husband and I were out driving around, and we went by the Bird property, and I noticed the garbage cans and the benches are all there. Are those ever gonna be put back out again? I know they were taken out when the streets were redone.
The garbage cans are broken and we'll have to have some work done prior to that being reinstalled. Most of the benches are out and, unfortunately with the shed being gone, all of that property needs to be relocated or, disposed of properly.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Shaver.
I just want to say that, I'm glad to see, participation by the citizens and, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for being here and we'll talk to you next time.
Okay, Commissioner Robertson.
I just appreciate the comments from the public. I've heard you, I understand it, I agree with many of your comments. I would strongly suggest that we follow our city codes and our city charter, and people read that, which is public on the website. I checked 5 minutes ago, it's still there. It's 14 chapters, it's a really long, difficult read. I read it front to back. Put you to sleep many times reading it. And the reason I say that is because there are tools in there to do things like appeals and like civil engagement of lawsuits and so forth. I mean, there's a process. And I think we are a great community because we use the process of our city charter and our city code. Using that, I would hope that we can also look at, and this is a hard one, at investing in the future of Lewistown as a city with public infrastructure, in particular for lumber site, which is a big ask of the community, huge ask of the community. It cuts against the grain of a lot of people who live here, but I think we should think about putting some infrastructure money into that. And then we would have the opportunity to say to an entity like this apartment building, how about we locate you up there and let's turn the neighborhood property into a city park instead of a parking lot and apartment building. So that's my opinion.
Okay, Commissioner Bueller?
Again, thank you guys for coming. It's good to hear from you again. I echo my fellow commissioners, and I do think there is a good community discussion happening right now about growth, how we want to grow, and knowing that we want to be responsible and caring neighbors and be in a town that we love. And I think that is at the heart of what everyone's saying. And again, I will echo my comments from last week. I do think that there is a positive way forward with this, and that we can figure that out as a community.
Thank you. Commissioner Ward?
Just want to say thanks for everybody for coming, making comments, thank you. We will do what we can do.
I'm going to echo Mr. Warren, and thank you everyone for coming.
All right, I have no comments tonight, nothing for commissioner minutes, but thank you all for being here and for your input. This meeting is adjourned.